Hi everybody, this is Angel Arts, and this is a video that I have been wanting to make for the longest time, especially since a great number of you have been asking me when I would be making and posting this video. I am specifically making this video for those of you who are interested in tabletop gaming or Dragon Age, the Dragon Age series, or both, or just, role-playing in general. I am happy to announce that auditions are now officially open for my next Dragon Age tabletop campaign Season 2. So just to give you guys a little bit of information of the campaign itself, this is going to be the sequel to my previous Season 1 Dragon Age tabletop campaign that I did a little bit more than a year ago with Reclusiarch / David Anderson, Shally, Lucky Jack 20, and Pixel Prattle / Ray. The plan is for us to meet every other week at minimum. I would be open to meeting more often than that, but I would try to avoid having a schedule that didn't regularly meet every other week at least. Sessions typically last about 4 to 5 hours, sometimes longer. It really depends on how much into the role-playing the players are. So a lot of the length of each session is pretty much dictated by the players themselves. If you've never seen any of my campaigns before, they are extremely story heavy, very RP heavy. I would say about roughly 75 to 80% of role-playing, and then 20 to 25% of combat. In fact, very often, especially in the Mass Effect tabletop campaign, you might go through an entire session without having any combat whatsoever. If you think you're going to have a problem with that, I probably am not the right GM for you. And this probably isn't the right campaign for you. However, if you're totally cool with the concept of, having an extremely story-heavy, role-playing heavy campaign, I think that you and I would probably make a very good match. The story takes place approximately 5 years-ish, maybe a little bit more than 5 years after the events of the previous Dragon Age tabletop campaign, and of course we are going to be continuing on with the Thetis world state that our previous heroes left for us. And I can't really say too much about the story because as a GM, I like to wait until I actually receive my players' character backgrounds, and I try to create a story based on their backgrounds, and I want to do that more so with this campaign than I did with the Mass Effect campaign or Dragon Age campaign, especially because due to the choices that the previous players made, we're now exploring a Theta state that is completely unknown to anyone if they've played the games, because the choices that they made has made a lot of differences. It branched out a lot of major differences in the way that the world of Thetis is. So that gives me freedom to come up with something else story-wise that may have nothing to do with some of the plot elements in any of the games, which is really exciting. So that's why I feel like I have a lot of freedom right now to be able to customize a story around your character, not the other way around. So now that I've talked about the campaign itself, let's talk about the requirements. So this is what you need in order to be eligible for the campaign. Number 1, you must be 18 years or older, please. This campaign is roughly a year-long commitment. Ideally, I want to try to get the entire campaign done within 9 months or so, but a lot of that is dependent on people's schedules and stuff. So just in case it goes over a little bit, let's say that expect this to be a year-long commitment. So please only audition if you feel that you truly can dedicate and commit your time to such a campaign. You must have a flexible or at least predictable schedule. So for example, if you have a job that, you know, they can call you the day before and say, I need you to come into work tomorrow, or, you know, if your schedule is constantly changing every week and you never know, you know, when you're actually free, that makes scheduling very challenging. Because, you know, ideally it'd be great if we picked the date and we stuck with that date, and, you know, we just agreed that we would always meet on that date unless, you know, emergencies happen all the time, life happens. But, you know, in general, as much as possible, we want to mitigate how often we have to move our sessions around. And if you have a flexible or predictable schedule, that helps immensely. Keep in mind that I live in the United States Eastern Time, and the most ideal times for me to be able to play would be during the day on either a Saturday or Sunday, my time. I prefer to play during the day on the weekends because then that allows my weekend evenings to be free. And now that I'm married, that tends to be a little bit more important these days, to be quite honest. I could also do Friday nights, but just know that every now and then I will most likely have things going on some random Friday night, so it may not always be consistent. So if that aligns well with your personal schedule based on where your time zone is, by all means, please do Audition. You must have a webcam with a reliable internet connection. I'm pretty much am very adamant about that because since it is such a heavy role-playing campaign, I need to have that added depth of, you know, facial, face-to-face interaction. And having a webcam, I think, just helps a lot considerably. You don't have to have any tabletop RPG experience. You can be completely new to role-playing. As long as I know that you're enthusiastic to learn and that you're excited to put yourself out there and try it out because you believe that you would really enjoy it, you know, that's really all that matters to me. Because this is the sequel to my previous Dragon Age campaign, it would be preferred that you would have seen the previous campaign prior to auditioning or participating in this campaign, just because then you would know, you know, who all the characters are, you would have known all of the events, and it would just make things a lot easier for you to roleplay. It's not required, but just know that it's highly encouraged if you are already familiar with the events of the previous campaign. So if you believe that you fit the bill with all of those requirements, here are the instructions on how to audition. Please make sure that your video is 5 minutes in duration or less. In that 5 minutes or less, please introduce yourself as a person and explain to me your proposed character concept. You don't have to actually have built the character, you don't necessarily have to have the guide yet, or, you know, you most certainly don't have to have, you know, a character sheet, you know, built and ready for your character. I just want to get an idea of what character you're trying to pitch in order to help you guys out in discovering what exactly are the background/origins that are available in all 3 of the Dragon Age Tabletop campaign players' handbooks. I put a link down below in the description that will take you to a wiki page that sort of outlines all the information all the basic information that you need to know to build a character. But at the very least, if you just want to see like what's available, because there's like, you know, multiple Tevinter backgrounds and Orlesian backgrounds and Canary backgrounds and, you know, Anderfell, Swashbuckler. There's a lot of different backgrounds and origins in there that I definitely encourage you guys to explore, especially if there are backgrounds that were not showcased in the previous campaign. Once you've created the video, post it up on YouTube, and then send me a private YouTube message with a link to your audition video, and I will take a look at it and see if you end up being one of the main finalists. All audition submissions must be in by Sunday, February 28th. So that gives you guys a little more than 3 weeks from the time that I posted this video to send in your auditions. Once I've received all of the submissions, I'm going to review all of the auditions, and then I'm going to pick about a dozen, give or take, finalists. I will contact each of the finalists so that we can schedule a one-on-one interview with me. And the interview will be divided up into an out-of-character portion as well as an in-character role-playing portion. Then I will post each person's individual interview video up on my channel, and that'll give the viewers an opportunity to watch the auditions and provide some constructive feedback that will ultimately help me decide who will participate in the next campaign. I'm super excited to see you guys audition. I've had such a great time with both the Dragon Age and the Mass Effect campaign. I always love meeting new people and hanging out with some awesome friends. The people that have been in the Mass Effect campaign especially have bonded so much. I'm so happy that those guys, were able to establish friendships that will continue on long after the campaign is over. And I definitely hope that the same thing will happen to you guys. If you have any questions, please post them down in the comments below and I'll try to respond to them as quickly as I can. And if you want to get a feel for what this whole audition process looks like, including what the interviews are like, take a look at the Mass Effect Tabletop campaign playlist that I also have in my channel, because the first several episodes of that channel will show you the auditions and the whole selection process, and that'll give you an idea of what to expect. As always, good luck to everyone who's auditioning. Thank you very much for watching, and until then, love yourselves and love each other.